Welcome to the Aviation Insurance Podcast, the podcast that helps aircraft owners and aviation businesses learn and understand the complex world of aviation insurance and risk management. From the basic principles of aviation insurance to risk management techniques and updates on the aviation insurance market, the Aviation Insurance Podcast is your guide to traverse the world of aviation insurance. Now, here's your host, Tim Bonnell.
Well, welcome to a combined episode of the Aviation Insurance Podcast while being released on the Aviation Business Podcast, the sister show. Welcome. We talk about issues in the aviation industry and topics in aviation insurance. And today I wanted to provide a brief update on the aviation insurance market. And so I thought this would be a good topic to address on both of my sister podcasts. So with that, I want to get into the aviation insurance market update for May of 2022. And this comes on the heels of regular updates, at least annually, where we discuss what's been going on in the aviation insurance market. Aviation insurance has been riding kind of a harder insurance market since early to mid 2018, which has been marked by increasing rates and stricter underwriting guidelines. As you may have noted in our updates in 2020 and 21, we saw that there were a number of factors creating this hardening of the market, including extremely low and unsustainable rates in the soft market that started in 2006 that went until 2018, where there was bottom level rates. Underwriters allowed pretty much any kind of pilots and training, and that may be a stretch, but it was very flexible. And anyway, this led to extremely low premiums with high loss ratios, high claims. This depleted loss reserves for the insurance companies, which they're required to maintain. The cost of administering claims and business expenses, the cost of claims, all have gone up in this last couple of decades as this has gone on. Higher liability awards continue to be awarded by courts and juries, very significant amounts, and all of this leading to higher reinsurance costs for the insurers. As we've talked about in previous episodes, insurance companies buy reinsurance. They insure part of the portfolio of what they write, especially in aviation. And so the reinsurers that they have are asking and demanding them to get higher costs for those reinsurance treaties. So this has led to average increases of 15 to 30% in the commercial and corporate market on premiums over the last several years. There's been some variances to that, higher or lower, depending on where rates were loss experience and in certain categories of the market. For instance, a single pilot turbines have seen larger increases in some case, and not all. But the aviation insurance market is continuing to see an uptick in rates and the continued restrictive underwriting in 2022 across the entire aviation sector. Again, there are several new factors that are significant that are contributing to this ongoing correction and increase in the market. The first is just that the increased flying activity in general aviation has resulted in a higher number of both catastrophic and minor accidents and losses in aviation, general aviation, in the last couple of years. So we are seeing more and more accidents along those lines. Again, as I indicated earlier, liability awards against aviation operations continues to increase. Recently, we saw a ground incident in Texas result in a $352 million jury award in an unfortunate circumstance. $352 million. Unfortunately, the same loss outside of aviation may not have been and would not have been that high. Supply chain issues and inflation that have occurred in the last couple of years have led to parts availability issues and significantly increased costs of parts and labor. This has led to noticeably increased direct costs for claims, along with longer aircraft on-ground downtime. Now, keep in mind that in a liability claim, that aircraft on-ground downtime can cost the insurers each and every day that an aircraft is down waiting on parts. And so all of these factors have been a problem just due to the supply chain issues that have come up in the last couple of years. Again, there's just a continually increasing cost to conduct business, to handle claims and settle claims. labor costs are higher. The cost to do everything is higher. So there's more expenses in writing insurance today. Again, we've talked in the last couple of years about the Boeing 737 MAX, the 2 losses, the resulting grounding claims, estimated in a combined losses of more than $2 billion. That's a pretty big chunk of the worldwide aviation premium just for 1 year. And so that is very detrimental to profitability for the insurers. And again, all of these things have gone to result in increasing reinsurance costs. Insurance carriers go through their reinsurance renewal meetings, and they're told, in order for us to provide this, you need to get rates up X percent. And so right now, as of today, 10 to 15% are average increases. So not quite as high as they may have been a couple of years ago in most circumstances, but that could change in a day. The one new issue that has come up in the last couple of months that could affect the market in the future is the issue of the Russian confiscation of non-Russian owned or financed aircraft in their country. On March 14th of 2022, Russia passed a law that allowed for the confiscation of those non-Russian owned or financed aircraft in the country. Again, most airlines lease their equipment, and there are estimated to be more than 500 aircraft that fall under Putin's order. In order for if the full force of the loss were to occur, they're currently estimating that there are more than $10 billion in aircraft holes that would potentially be a loss to the international insurance market. And obviously, this could go a lot of different ways. This is an issue that will continue to unfold over time. And so the good news is that while there's uncertainty in the market as to what this issue will, what kind of issues will come out of this from rates and stability in the market, the good news is that the insurers and the reinsurers are not making a knee-jerk reaction at this point in time. Again, this could change at any point in the future, but right now they're waiting to see how the situation plays out and aren't making any additional knee-jerk reactions. But needless to say, there's a lot of exposure out there, and the rates aren't still where they need to be to pay for all the increased cost, higher awards, and all these issues to discuss. As always, we'll continue to provide these updates as there's enough meaningful change. Again, we have to just provide that disclaimer that the aviation insurance market could change in a day. So this is the information as we post it now, and that could change, but at least provide some perspective on some of the factors. Obviously, there are others. These are some major factors affecting the market conditions in the aviation insurance marketplace as of May 2022. Well, that's all for this episode. Join us again next time as we continue navigating the waypoints of aviation insurance and the aviation industry. Until then, enjoy clear skies and unlimited visibility.
Thanks for listening to the Aviation Insurance Podcast. If you found this episode of value, please share it with someone who would benefit from this information. Don't forget to subscribe in your podcast player so you don't miss any new episodes, and to help our show have more impact. This episode is brought to you by Aeris Insurance Solutions, your flight plan for navigating the turbulence of aviation insurance. For more information, visit aerisinsurance.com. That is www.aerisinsurance.com. Disclaimer. These episodes are for educational purposes only, and due to the changing regulatory and legal nature of the business, some information may change over time. Having a well-educated and experienced aviation insurance broker on your team is an absolute requirement to success in business and for managing your aircraft and aviation business risks.